Being a good man is not enough to keep good women attracted. Sounds controversial, it's the fucking truth. My name is Gene, I've slept with several hundreds of women, I've been in 5 long-term relationships, so I know a thing or two about how to fucking keep good women attracted. I've also coached over 270 men. And the reason why those men come to me specifically is because they're high achievers, they make a shit ton of money, yet they can't keep good women attracted. And you know why? Because they lack two-dimensional or actually four-dimensional approach to masculinity and creating a duality of emotions in women. Because most modern men focus nowadays on making women feel safe exclusively, and they lack the ability to make a woman feel aroused. Meaning, it's a one-sided emotion or emotional experience that women get to feel by being with you. What happens if you always feel the same fucking emotion? It gets boring. There's no novelty anymore. The dopamine being released is not sufficient enough anymore. And that's why women keep dumping you. It's not your fucking money, it's not your fucking fancy date nights, the fancy holidays, the fancy spa trips that's gonna keep a woman attracted. Look at Kaka or Will Smith, they've done all that, didn't fucking work. What keeps a woman attracted is the emotional experience that you give her and that she attaches to you. Not the fucking thing that you try to use as a placeholder, aka a restaurant or a bar. If you lead with money, if you lead with your fucking wallet to keep a woman attracted, guess what happens? She attaches the experience, or she builds a connection with your wallet, but not with you. And a wallet can be easily replaced, right? There's always another guy who makes more money than you. However, the deep emotional connection that you want to build with a woman that keeps her attracted is by making her feel safe and aroused. How do you do that? By fucking integrating your 4 masculine archetypes. I talked about earlier the fact that a lot of men are just one-dimensional, right? They can only make a woman feel safe. Typical, like, boring, good, nice guy. You're like, oh, how are you feeling today, babe? Is there anything I can do for you, babe? The typical yes man. Yeah, yes, I'll do the dishes for you. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do that. They cannot say fucking no. They cannot say shut the fuck up, metaphorically, to a woman that disrespects them. But a woman needs that. She needs that tension, because if she cannot like feel the tension, if she only feels safe, again, she lacks the duality of emotions that everyone needs. It's like the same concept as like if you only live in the sun, you don't appreciate the sun anymore. You take it for granted. Yeah, you only appreciate the sun with rain. You only appreciate the good days thanks to the bad days. Yeah, because it creates this contrast that you need, that makes you like realize, oh shit, it releases dopamine again in you. Yeah. So how do you do that? How do you not only make a woman feel safe, but also aroused? So let's look at the 4 masculine archetypes that you need to integrate. They are called Martin, Noah, and I'm going to explain them one by one, obviously in a second. Don Juan, and then we've got fucking Patrick here. Yeah, they all represent a specific skill and trait of masculinity. So, making a woman feel safe is the fucking foundation. I'm not saying that you should become a dickhead. You need to stay a safe man. How do you do that? By showing empathy and emotional attunement. Empathy, I mean, fuck that handwriting, I'm sure you can't read that. And attunement. Pretend that you know what I'm talking about right now. You can read this. So how do you display empathy? Let's say she comes back home from a bad day, or she shares her story of how she got into this specific job on a date. Yeah. What you do is you say, oh, wow, that sounds crazy. Oh, I understand. I feel you. And you nod your head along. It's like, yeah, I get that. Yeah. That displays empathy. Empathy is a fancy word for acknowledging someone, making her feel, or making him or her feel seen, since we're not into dating gays, right? We focus on women, making her feel seen. And simple things such as like just nodding your head along and smiling and mirroring fundamentally the emotion that she's displaying. For example, I've been with a couple of like girls when I went on a date with them, and I asked, okay, what do you do for work? How did you get into that? They're like, yeah, I really got into that because of my parents. I didn't want to become like my dad. I didn't want to become like my mom, right? It's a quite deep topic. I said, wow, that's very interesting. That sounds like you're really like ambitious or whatever, right? Like I don't fucking remember exactly what I said. It's like, yeah, like, and then they walked me through the story behind why they did, why they didn't want to become like their mom or their dad, and me just saying, yes, I understand. Oh, I feel you. Wow, interesting, crazy, wild. Just throwing those random fillers in there, it made them feel seen, and they always say like, I've never felt so connected to a guy before. Yeah. And the more you get a woman to talk about herself and open up, the more safer she feels because she feels that you're building rapport, basically. However, building rapport only makes a woman feel fucking bored. You need to go one step further through using Noah. Yeah, I should have mentioned that earlier. Martin is the empath. Noah is the emotionally attuned guy. Attunement is built by using mirroring and labeling techniques. Labeling techniques fundamentally work this specific way. It sounds like plus insert emotion. It looks like plus insert emotion. I don't know. Let's on a date. She says, well, I'm an investment banker and I work like 100 hours. Well, it sounds like that must be stressful. It sounds like you are very ambitious. It sounds like you hate your life. That would be a playful way. That would be playful tease, which would actually be one of these archetypes. I'm going to reveal it in a second. By saying this, by labeling her, you are fundamentally making, like you're building a bridge between her and you to your heart, yeah? Because she feels, oh wow, this guy like gets me. That educated guess that you make, yeah? By just inferring something based on what she gives you, builds a connection between two humans. You can work this always to your advantage by deploying that like every now and then into your conversations on a date or even in a relationship. Yeah. Now, as I said earlier, a lot of guys, they fucking stop here. This part builds safety and builds comfort. But you need to build tension. Tension, either two types of tension. Tension that is playful and fun, yeah, and then tension that is potentially, oh yeah, I'm gonna seduce my whiteboard, guys, is also, what's the word? Annoying. Let's use annoying. You need to make her feel upset. Why? Because if you never make a woman feel upset, that means you're never setting a boundary. If you're never setting a boundary, guess what she's gonna do? She's gonna fucking walk all over you. She's gonna turn you into a doormat. A woman needs to feel your boundaries. She needs to feel that masculine resistance. Yeah. And then on top of that, you need to make her feel like you need to make it fun. There's this song by, I don't fucking know who created that song. It's called "Girls Just Want to Have Fun." Every woman wants to have fun. I was a bartender, bro. I worked in finance. I've seen all sides of women. The number one attraction trigger in women is if you can make her like laugh and make her feel something that creates, like, make her almost feel embarrassed by flirting, for example, because you like radiate so much confidence. Now, how do you do that? There are two archetypes that you need to integrate. Don Juan, which is the playful part, yeah, and then Patrick, which is the leader, so to say. So think of Patrick as the CEO or the coach of a team, you know, who sometimes has to make tough decisions. And then Don Juan, think of these guys as the sales guy, the sales in a company. These guys, they're lighthearted, they just want to have fun, they just want to, you know, banter. But you got to keep them in check, otherwise they just go full overboard, right? So how do you display Don Juan and how do you display Patrick? And why does it work so well with women? Well, Don Juan is the playful guy, right, as I said. So how do you display this playful guy in dating and also in relationships? A lot of guys, like, I cannot fucking get my head around this. And I'm going to insert a clip of Sandra and me, like how I'm being playful, because there are techniques and frameworks that you can use, but they're heavily dependent on situations. So I'm going to show you a couple of techniques that I'm using with Sandra in this next clip, where I deploy a lot of playful teases.
The most beautiful woman in the world next to you, how awesome does it feel, Hercules? Tell me. How awesome.
Do you also hear this? Do you hear this bird yapping and chirping? It's nice in the sun, huh?
It is fine.
Yeah, especially you're gonna get so tan on your upper arms, Sandra. It's so hot outside that you still have to wear your fucking jacket and scarf.
It's not that hot.
Did you just say cold? Because you couldn't decide whether or not cold and hot? No counter, because it's the truth.
Silence.
Yeah, silence. Thanks for stating the obvious. Table.
I will not say.
Glass. Whoa. Human. Bag. Yeah, it's me, Hercules. Thank you. I almost forgot who I am, you know? But fundamentally, overall, the overarching themes or techniques that you should use to create a playful vibe with a woman is playful teases, disqualifying her, for example. Yeah. For example, if she's or cold read, playful cold read. For example, if she wears a yoga outfit. Actually, I met up with a client a couple of weeks ago. Actually, 1 week ago in Dubai. And we were sitting on the couch. I was doing like a couple of like trainings with him, you know, like in-person sessions. And then this girl approached us and she was about to sit next to us. And she was holding a coffee, right? And she was wearing a yoga outfit. I'm going to put a picture on up here as well, actually, so you can see how she looked like. She was hot, obviously. I wouldn't want to talk to a girl that gives me eye cancer, right? So I asked her like, hey, instead of asking her this boring question like, yo, what are you having? Or like, actually, that was my opener. What coffee did you get? And then she said, oh, I'm going to get a cappuccino. Instead of then asking, oh, how did it taste? Or why do you like cappuccino? Which is a fucking retarded question, to be fair. I said like, oh, no way, cappuccino. You look like such a fucking matcha latte girl, actually. To which she then responded like, no way, no, I'm not a matcha latte girl. What makes you think so? Say so. Humans, especially women, love nothing more than correcting someone. I just made an educated guess. I don't know what a matcha latte girl looks like. It was just like a fucking playful statement based on her outfit because I wanted to get her like to open up. And she started giggling, oh, no, you know? And it was like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, it's just my intuition, you know? Like, and then your outfit, you're quite tall, actually. Like, do you like fucking play basketball or volleyball, like professional? Are you going to see you at the next World Cup? She's like, no, like, I'm just like really into yoga, blah, blah. And that's how we got to Yap. And then I got her number, yada, yada, and gave it to my client, actually. They're going on a date, actually. Anyways, using that cold read, that fundamentally created an instant sexual, like, not sexual, an instant tension in her because she's like, oh, what? Like, how is this guy misreading me in that moment? A lot of you guys, you're so afraid of making a mistake with women that you like give into that fear and not really share your true side. You care too much of what she thinks. You place her opinion of you above your own opinion. Make more mistakes and say more outrageous things. You have to be more audacious with women. You have to be cockier. Yeah. Another way of like creating sexual tension with women and be playful is like disqualifying her. Disqualifier is basically using an observation or a condition plus a filler such as, oh, because of that we won't get along. For example, let's use this example with this girl who's wearing yoga pants and she says she's into Pilates. You say, well, you do Pilates? Oh my gosh, no. I've heard so many things about like girls that do Pilates. I'm not sure we get along, you know that. Like, I'm really into lifting. I'm not sure that's compatible, you know. But maybe you convince me otherwise, you know. That's a disqualifying statement plus a qualifying statement. Qualifying statement here is like, maybe you can convince me otherwise. Maybe you can change my mind. And because she's hot, she's so used to guys who like always want to like build rapport with her. But I'm actually destroying rapport in that moment, which puts me into like a different category of men, which implies to her like, oh, well, this guy must have abundance because otherwise he wouldn't be like treating me as just like a not special girl, like just a normal girl. That's sort of a subcommunication of his playful Don Juan character, bro. Yeah. I think you have enough example of firepower to deploy this. And the thing that a lot of guys get wrong is that they stop doing this or never did this in a relationship. You'll see this in the clip that I've shown you. You saw this in the clip earlier with Sandra. But for example, in relationships, the way you can keep a good woman attracted by using Don Juan is by still like disqualifying her somewhat. And now a lot of you guys will say, oh, but I love her, I want to make her happy. Bro, if you truly love her, if you truly want to make her happy, you use these techniques, these absurd conversation techniques, because that's what's going to make her happy. Because, again, you need to create duality of emotions in a relationship, bro. How often have I said like to Sandra, how did I manage to be with you for so long? You've added so much gray hair to my life. That was a playful like comment on her, like sometimes saying some retarded shit. But it's playful. It's not meant like in a condescending way, like or like putting her down. Because of the intonation, because of my intention, it's clear that this is just meant in a playful way. Yeah, or for example, I assume a lot of attraction in a relationship. So when when a girl would text me like, "Hey, good morning," I would immediately sexualize that and say like, "What's up, stalker? Can't stop thinking of me, right?" For a lot of guys, a lot of nice guys, this sounds like cringe and outrageous. It used to be for me too, because I was this fucking Kevin, this super fucking nice guy, who was a fucking pussy. It feels cringe and unnormal. I'm not sure if that's actually a word, because you've never done it before. It's the same way as like going to the gym for the first time. It feels cringe. Anything you do for the first time feels cringe. A lot of you guys also think it makes you a bad man when you use these techniques. Fundamentally, everything in life, like even normal conversations, are like founded on techniques. Yeah? You go to the gym and lift with a specific form, a specific technique. The way you subconsciously or like unconsciously communicate right now is reliant on specific techniques. For example, you unconsciously use open-ended and closed questions. Open-ended, hey, what are you thinking of X, Y, Z? Closed question, should we do this or that? Right? This is technique. That's a question framework. You're already using those frameworks unconsciously. So why would you stop what you unconsciously do? And why would you not expand into other techniques? Limiting beliefs, bro. Stories you've created in your fucking head. Fuck them. So, enough Don Juan. Yeah, let's move on to the last one, because I'm sure you're like, bro, I want to know what Patrick is all about. So Patrick is the CEO of yourself, basically, and the CEO of a relationship. What I cannot get my fucking head around is like how many guys nowadays, first of all, support the fucking LGBTQ, the fucking, delusional people, and how many guys think that relationships can be equal. It's bullshit. There's not a single mechanism in the world, in nature, where equality has led to success. Are there two, like, show me one company that has two CEOs. Show me one soccer, I said soccer, can you believe it? Football, American football, basketball, baseball team that has more than one captain. They have a captain, vice captain. They have one coach, they have an assistant coach. There's one CEO, there's one king, there's one queen. I'm not saying that you should put women down. What I'm saying is that you need to have these different responsibilities in the relationship. Chief Executive Officer, Chief Operating Officer. They both have power, they both have responsibilities, they're just different. A king and a queen have different responsibilities. They're still fucking powerful. Power couple, basically. Why am I sharing this with you? Because you need to understand that if you want a woman to stay attracted to you, you need to lead as a CEO as a coach and sometimes make decisions that will upset her, such as setting boundaries, saying no, telling her to not use you as an emotional punching bag. What is an emotional punching bag? Like, I don't have a problem with holding space for, like, I don't know, when Sandra is having a bad day, I obviously am here for you, for her. It's like, hold this space by saying like, hey, what's happening? You want to share what's going on because you seem a bit upset today. She can then share her emotions. Like, yeah, like she can cry. And she's like, oh, this is all annoying, yada, 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 right? I'm there, I'm gonna hug her, give her a kiss to the forehead, yada, yada, yada. What I do not tolerate is her coming home, for example, throwing her back at the floor, smashing the door, and then, I don't know, finding a small thing in the kitchen, like the dishes undone, and then lash out at me. Because I know it's not about the fucking dishes. It's about her stress from the job. If she would then yell at me and lash out at me and become even verbally abusive, I would say like, yo, I'm not gonna have this conversation. I wouldn't yell, I wouldn't raise my voice. I would say, yo, Sandra, it looks like you're very upset. We can have this conversation 10 minutes when you fucking cool down. The very important thing here is that you need to, when you say this, you need to say calm, but you need to shoulders back. A lot of guys, they put their head down like, hey, Sandra, like, oh, like, no, please don't yell at me. Please don't do this. Shoulders back, upright. Yo, I'm not going to have this conversation with you. Deeper voice, instant, soft trigger, or it instantly triggers her softness because it resets her primal brain. So that's number one, set boundaries. Empathy without boundaries is suicide. You need empathy with boundaries. Compassion stops where your boundaries and your principles are being violated. Number one of creating tension. Patrick, also as a CEO, you need to display leadership. That means you need to stand up for your principles, as I said, but also sort of create a vision for where you want to go with the relationship. Now, I'm not saying that you should be controlling and tell her exactly what she has to do, but you are responsible for, like, fundamentally determining the responsibilities of the relationship. So, for example, I pay most of the bills, yada, yada, yada. In return, Sandra cooks for me. That's a different responsibility. Laundry, Sandra is a bit of a nerd. So, for example, she's like very much into like, she works in the back office and whatnot, right? She's like very much into coding, yada, yada, yada. She's very ambitious. So sometimes I know she's not really good with keeping up with like small chores like doing laundry or whatever. So I'll take responsibility. I do the laundry or I remind her of doing it. Sometimes I have to chase her. That's fine. That's my role as the CEO of the relationship. In return, she always cooks for me. She she bakes or whatever. Like, this is her responsibility as the COO. Yeah. But her responsibility as the COO as well is reminding me like, hey, have you taken a massage or whatever? Have you taken a day off? She reminds me to recover from like my intense work week. Yeah. And I sometimes have to remind her too. So it's basically like a team effort. But we have our unique responsibilities, and we had this conversation. It's not like that this is an unspoken responsibilities. They've been verbalized. We've used this whiteboard and mapped them out. And then we hold each other accountable to those. That's a great relationship. That's what keeps a woman attracted, because you are leading her and creating the space for her to also flourish. I don't agree with this red pill dynamic where a woman has to be in the house and turn into a housewife, this trad wife shit. Most of these women are like, they don't have any ambition. So that's why I'm not really into that. If she wants to, she can be a housewife. If she wants to be like a career woman, great as well. You come home, you're soft. I make sure that you will turn into into your soft era. A lot of guys that lack Patrick and Don Juan, they will become they will abandon the CEO role. They turn into doormat, and she will then take over the CEO role. And then over time will get pissed because she's very much in her masculine, this assertive side. She can't tap into her soft side. And then after a time, she will get bored, she'll get pissed, she will resent you, and then she will start cheating on you, and then she will leave you eventually. So if you truly want to keep a woman attracted and loyal and soft, like actually keep her attracted by making her soft, by empowering her to get into her feminine. A woman that's in her feminine will never cheat on you, because you give her everything she wants, because when she's in her feminine, she's authentically herself. How do you do that? By implementing all those 4 steps or 4 archetypes. As a reminder, Martin, empath, show empathy. Noah, emotional attunement, show that you get her. Don Juan, playfulness and wit. Patrick, leadership. If you want to learn how to fucking keep women attracted, and if you want to fucking become this man who's integrated all his 4 archetypes, bro, there's a link in the description where you can book a call with me to work one-on-one with me. Would love to work with you. If not, your choice. Crush it. Love and peace. Ciao, ciao.